Everybody, my ruler 31 here, back for FSI DFS. We've got a 10-game main slate for Saturday, the 24th of July. If you are looking for the early slate, there's a 4-game one today at 4:05. Just pause the video, check our channel. McKinley412 should have the information for that. If for some reason we have technical difficulties and don't get that video up, check back in this video around 3:30 and we'll post some in the comments, some pictures that we like and some stacks for you. So we'll have you covered either way. So just going to kind of fly through this slate, no weather concerns, lots of great pitching options. Hitting options are not as good because there's a lot of great pitching options. So go through it quickly and go through our pitchers and stacks that we like. I'll give you a couple lineup builds and we'll get you back to your weekend. So first game, Tampa Bay and the Cleveland Indians. You have Drew Roseman, who would probably only go a couple innings. I don't know if he's going to be an opener or if it's just going to be a bullpen game, but 4K, not interested there. Even though Cleveland's been bad. If you want to throw a dart in a GPP YOLO, that's fine. Mahia, not touching. He just gave up 6 runs 2 games ago to Tampa Bay. Really like the Tampa Bay bats. Don't know if I'll full stack them because some of their pricing is getting really high up on some of the righties here. They're actually getting up to like 5K, but you've got 3 guys that are left-handed batters that should be in there, and Lau, Choi, and Meadows. And they are all reasonably priced in the 4K range. So I like a 3-man left-handed stack there. St. Louis Cardinals and Cincinnati Reds. I think Luis Castillo, with his current form, even though he was horrible in the beginning of the season, will be probably one of the most popular SP2s on the slate if people are not paying up for double pitchers. He's only at 7.5. Woodford on the other side, I'm not interested in. Bat-wise, I do like the Cincinnati bats against Woodford. I'm not really interested in the Cardinals against Castillo. I think they might be a leverage stack if you think Castillo is going to be highly owned in cash or even in tournaments and just being a cheap price, and you want to take advantage of that, then you can stack the Cardinals, but I don't think that they're going to do really well, and I wouldn't do it in more like a dollar stack. Chicago White Sox and Milwaukee Brewers. Here you have an elite pitching matchup. You have Carlos Rondon and Corbin Burnes. Both of them are in excellent spots here. It's only a 7 total here. Each team has a run total below 4. Both great pitchers, good K upside here. Nothing bad really to say about either one. I think either one could be your SP1 on this slate. I think Burnes has more K upside, and against a White Sox lineup that still is missing a couple pieces. But then again, the Milwaukee lineup has been hit or miss also in offensive production. So I don't think you can go wrong picking either of these pitchers, or if you want to pay up for both, that's fine too. And we'll talk about that in lineup construction. The Los Angeles Angels against the Minnesota Twins. You have Patrick Sandoval against Jose Barrios. I think Barrios could be an okay GPP in the mid-range. He's a little bit higher than some of the other pitchers I consider at 8.8. The Angels, like Fletcher, I absolutely love him. His price is just getting up there though. 4.6 now. I loved it when he was like below 4K and was consistently hitting. I think I saw a stat that in 29 games he's had multiple hits this year, and sometimes up to 3 hits. So he's just good. Otani's been good. Upton's back in there. Jared Walsh. So it's just a matter of time before this Angels lineup gets healthy. They've added, bottom basement pricing Adam Eaton here. I don't know how much fuel he's got left in the tank or how much tread he's got left in the tires, but there's a lefty there. So there's some pieces from this Angel lineup I'm okay with. I think they'd be like, out of the 12 stacks I usually recommend, they'd be number 12. Minnesota, on the other hand, I think they make a decent GPP stack, but just be careful on here. They already got rid of Cruz. We don't know if they're selling off other people. There's rumors that Donaldson might be going. So it's something like as we get closer to the deadline for trade coming up on the 30th of the month, 6 days from now, that we always have to watch lineups before lock just to make sure, even if we lock it in at like say 6:30 like the other night, and then all of a sudden Nelson Cruz is being traded, you always have to be continuously just watching up until lock and maybe a little bit after for late scratches. It's almost like NBA this time of year. So Minnesota, I do like the right-handed bats against Sandoval. I think, they'd be my third favorite GPP stack of the day. Detroit Tigers and Kansas City. Casey Meese, he's got an innings restriction, so I'm really not interested in him. He's a great young pitcher. I think he's going to do some good things and even hopefully get up to the level that Boyd did in the organization. But they're going to start restricting him now that they're out of the playoff run, and they don't want to put too many innings and pitches on that young arm and wear him out too soon. So I'm out on him. Carlos Hernandez on the other side is a decent YOLO play. He'll probably go 3 to 4. He's got a decent strikeout percentage. I think it was like 28. So I think he was like 5th or 6th highest on the slate. But then again, you're only going to get 3 or 4 innings out of him. He's 4.6. So if he gets you 12 points, that should make value. That's not bad. But we're talking like a punt in the GPP here if you're paying up for another pitcher and trying to get some high-priced bats in there. Offensively, I like both these teams. I think Detroit is going to be my favorite stack here against Hernandez in this Casey bullpen after it. I think Hernandez might be fine with the first couple times through the lineup, maybe 1.5 times through, but then against the bullpen, I think Detroit could do really, really well. So they're my favorite cheap stack here. I know they have one guy that's 5K, but the rest of them are very, very reasonably priced. So if you're paying up for double pitcher, Detroit stack makes the most sense here. Even skipping Shoop at the 5K and just going and skipping Cabrera, you can go like 1, 3, 5, 6, 7 here. And I think you have a really nice stack. We'll go over that in lineup builds. On the other side here, Kansas City, I think they'd be my second favorite cheap stack against Meese. Once he gets out of the game, you get the Detroit bullpen, which isn't great. And I know Kansas City's been hot and cold too, but they have a 4.91 run total here. And I think that they could come to life a little bit and do some damage later on in this game. You have the Houston Astros against Texas Rangers. Kyle Gibson burned me on Monday. I would have been better at playing Yu Darvish, who didn't even play, for about the same price, and would have actually ended up 8 points better because he wouldn't have gotten a negative. So I apologize for that recommendation. But he's back here today. I'm not recommending him against Houston. Houston has Valdez going on the mound. And those of you who are doing the home run achievement are sitting there thinking like, man, like, how did I miss the Texas one? How do I only have one left? Well, guess what? We all do, because Texas has not hit a home run since, I think before the All-Star break. Like Joey Gallo was on his hair, and then all of a sudden, like, they've just been silent. So there have been no home runs. And in our Discord, we've kind of been joking about it, that it's going to be the last day of the achievement contest, and what's going to happen is it's going to be like a third string emergency catcher that just got called up from like single A ball is going to come in the 12th inning and like hit a home run and win the game, and like nobody's going to get their achievement. But we'll keep on stacking Texas in the dimes. Every single player that they put on the field, they put a guy on the field last night that wasn't even on DK, and we all thought that he would be the one that hit the home run. But so don't be discouraged if you have one team left in your DK achievements for home runs, because we all do. So we're there with you. So anyways, not really recommending the Texas other than if you're trying to get that home run for the achievements. Houston is actually going to be my favorite stack on the slate. I think a lot of the ownership is going to be on the Dodgers, but when I go to the breakdown section, you'll see why the Dodgers kind of concern me a little bit tonight. So Houston, definitely many different ways to stack this team. I know their run total is only 4.74, and you've got some teams up in the 5s, but Kyle Gibson has been okay, but we saw, what happened to him against Detroit. And I think this Houston team is a very patient team, a very good team. They're starting to really come together and put some runs together. And I think that they're going to have a really good night tonight in against Texas. You have the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Mets. You have Ryu and Walker. Both pitchers are decent. Walker, just not the spot to play him against this Toronto offense. It's in Mets ballpark, which favors pitchers. It's a hitter downgrade a little bit, but Toronto, I think they're a GPP stack just because of how well they've been doing this year, but their pricing is just so high. It's not a hitter ballpark. It's got a decent pitcher. Mets have an okay bullpen, so I'm just really not super excited for them. They only have a 4.37 total. Mets, I think, could be a sneaky stack against Ryu, and I think Ryu is probably my third favorite pitcher to take in the mid-range. It'd go Valdez, Castillo, and then Ryu would be third. He has struggle at times with control. So the Mets are getting better. This lineup isn't striking out as much now that they have the guys back and healthy. So I just don't see as much K upside here as the Mets that we were picking on before. So Ryu is a good price, but I'd rather pay a little bit more for Valdez or pay down for Castillo at 7.5 against a Cardinals team, which has really struggled too. So next game is the Pittsburgh Pirates against the San Francisco Giants. Will Crowe against Kevin Gossman. Gossman is going to be my SP1 for cash today just because I like the price break on him. He's 9.7. I don't mind having Rendon and Burns. Do not mind them at all. I'll have some shares of those, but Gossman just helps me fit a little bit more in. And I think just against this Pittsburgh matchup here, I think they don't have much power. They don't strike out a ton, but I think that he has the highest potential for point per dollar. So that's what I'm going to go for cash. My SP1, Will Crowe, not touching Pittsburgh, not interested in even in a leverage stack. So go ahead and play him $1 because that means that there'll be a giant upset tonight and they'll score like 6 or 7 runs and you win all the money. But they have the lowest implied total on the slate at 2.86, and that's definitely probably for a good reason. Giants on the other side, my Giants Red Sox stack, both on FanDuel and DK last night were my highest scoring stacks. They both had over 200 points for me. Amazing night. I didn't take down stuff, but my ROI was like very, very high. Like just paying $1 on it, I ended up, with a couple hundred here and there. So, when you're getting like 100% ROI on a lineup that you're consistently playing every single day, it makes the couple dollars that you lose here and there when it doesn't hit really seem, like nothing. So I'm going to keep on with that strategy, and I'm glad I found this combination and have been very happy with it this season. Giants, yes, they're my favorite GPP stack here. Even like with the injuries and stuff, like the lefties, like Wade, I'm okay playing Posey, even though he's getting a little bit high. Yastrzemski at 3.8 seems way too cheap with a splits advantage. Dixon has been good also. Solano, there's just, I just love this Giants team and what they've been doing this season. Final game is the Los Angeles Dodgers, Colorado Rockies. Kyle Freeland against Tony Gonsolin. Gonsolin only goes 3 to 4 innings and the bullpen takes over. Even though he has a good K rate, it doesn't pitch long enough. 8K is a fair price for him. If you want to play him, that's fine, especially if it's like a later slate and not the main. I'm okay with him there. Kyle Freeland, I don't completely hate. He's not a horrible pitcher outside of Coors. I know it's against the Dodgers, but the Dodgers have watered down. Betts is out. Muncy should be out again. You got a lot of young bats in here. He has put up games in the 20s. Like he really hasn't gotten blown up. He just pitched against the Dodgers actually at Coors, and he had 12 DK points. So like Freeland's not. I think it's definitely a punt play, but he's not the worst play ever. Dodgers, I like them, but the pricing on them and I just can't do it with some of these players. Like, and I'll get to that in the breakdown section. Colorado, not really interested in the bats here against Gonsolin in that bullpen. Final game is the Seattle Mariners and Oakland Athletics. Very low total here. You have 2 decent pitchers. You have Chris Bassett and you have Logan Gilbert, who is actually one of my favorite SP2s on the slate here. A little bit more expensive than Castillo, but this guy's been solid in recent games. He's only given up 2 runs, no runs, 2 runs, no runs, 4 runs, 1 run, 2 runs. So he might give up a run or so, but he's actually faced some good offenses. The Yankees, he's faced the Angels, he's faced the White Sox, Tampa Bay, Oakland before at 15.3 DK points, but his box scores are 25.2 DK points, 34.55 DK points, 16 DK points, 15 DK points, 26 DK points. He has been solid. He's been going a decent amount of innings. So, I mean, that's helpful too. And the A's, top of the lineup is good. The bottom of the lineup has some opportunities for strikeouts. So, sign me up here for him. Chris Bassett, I think he just kind of gets lost in the shuffle today. He's almost 10K. and he's maybe better than the mid-range, but he's not enough to be in the same breath as like Gausman and Rondon and Burns. So a very good contrarian play, but I just don't think, I think he's priced in no man's land. And if you end up on him, I'm fine with your build, but I'm not making him a priority by any means in cash or anything. So recapping pitchers, high priced ones: Gausman, Rendon, Burns. Don't think you can go wrong with anyone. Gausman, I think he's going to have the better point per dollar, and I really like the matchup against Pittsburgh, so he's going to be my SP1. Bassett, you can throw in there to be contrarian. Medium range, I think Gilbert's my favorite one, followed by Valdez, Castillo, Ryu. You can take a dart on also, but like I said, you're going to save a little bit more money on Castillo. Gilbert. For the punts, Freeland I can make a case for, and see Hernandez from Kansas City, but he might only go 3 to 4 innings. Favorite stacks going to be Houston, Cincinnati, LA Dodgers, and then Tampa Bay, who just recently had a really good game against the same pitcher. GPP, San Francisco, Toronto, just based on their pricing in the ballpark and against a decent pitcher. Minnesota and the Mets. And then the cheap ones, love Detroit. I think if you're paying up for both pitchers, there's your stack right there. Kansas City, St. Louis, and Los Angeles would be the way to go. So looking at lineup constructions quickly here. Well, so we talked about the Dodgers. And if you're going with the Dodgers, if I take my pitchers, like I said, I'm going to take Gilbert, and I want Gausman. I'm not going to be able to get up to Gausman, I don't think, with a Dodgers lineup. For catcher, I usually punt, but I really have to play Smith here because looking at this Dodger lineup, the way I want to stack them is I'm taking Chris Taylor. That's fine. I'm not taking AJ Pollock at 4K, even though he's got the splits. If you look at his box score, like his last 10 games, the dude is only single digits. So yes, there's consistency there. And yes, you know, he is not getting zeros, but he's just, I just don't really want him in my stack. I'd rather pay 4K or save with another player. Will Smith, so I'll put him in Turner. So I think the core of the stack's got to be Taylor, Turner, and Smith. And then Pujols, I like him there at first base with the righty-lefty matchup. Bellinger, same thing, 5.2. There's no way, if I'm not paying 4K for singles, I know Bellinger had like, I think maybe 12 or 15 DQ points last night, but that was an outlier. The rest, since he came back from his injury and has been injured, he's not been the same player he was a couple of years ago, and I'm just not interested in his price at 5.2. Nius, if he's in, definitely. And there have been some other guys who have been around the 2K range that have started for the Dodgers. If they're in the lineup, sign me up. So if I'm stacking the Dodgers, I'm taking Smith, Pujols. I'll put Nius at second base, Turner at third base, and Taylor at shortstop. And then I'm going to throw in some Detroit guys to finish that off, or just, yeah, I'm just going to stack the rest of the outfield. It does give you a little bit of leeway, but I have to go down at pitcher to like Valdez if I really want to get in the Detroit stack I'm looking at and the Dodger players I'm looking at. So I think that's an okay build. And I think it's going to be very popular for the Dodgers, but I'd rather go for Houston. With Houston, I get Gausman, I get Gilbert. I'm going to use Astucio as my catcher, and I'm going to throw in these Tampa Bay lefties mini stack here. I'm going to take Lau, I'm going to take Meadows, and I'm going to take Choi because I saw what they did to this Cleveland pitcher, and I think, you know, they're going to have a really solid game there. So I'm just going to take the 3-man stack there, and then I'm going to fill in the rest of the Astros. I can get Altuve, I can take Correa, and then you have to decide on third base. Do you want to take Toro, or do you want to punt and go up an outfield? If you so for outfield, I mean, you can go with a low guy. I'd avoid Straw because he's just really been struggling. But you give Brantley, you just need to punt at third base to get up to Alvarez, or then you can get Tucker, who's having a really good season too. I think he'd be my favorite among the three. So that's that build. If you want to go up and get two really good pitchers, take Burns and Rodon right there. I stack Detroit, like I said. I throw Haas in a catcher. If he doesn't start, then you can drop him down. Shoop at first or second base, take your pick there. Candelario, Badu, Grossman would be the ones I would take. I don't really like playing Miguel Cabrera. Very good baseball player, but I think he's past his prime there. The other thing you can do is if you want to drop one of those guys, or if Shoop's too high at 5K, or if say Haas isn't in the lineup. I love Castro at shortstop there because that's a tough position to fill. Another thing you can do is if Neus is in, you can throw him as a punt at second base, and then that opens up some salary for your last two guys at shortstop and outfield, or however you want to mix and match the guys. So thanks for watching. We appreciate taking some time to spend with us as we break down tonight's slate. So give us a like, drop some comments below if you have any questions, anything we can help you out with. Subscribe to our channel so you know that our videos coming out, and we'll see you next time. Good luck tonight.